What if I told you that the loneliness you felt your entire life wasn't a punishment but a prophecy? What if the very things that made you feel like an outsider, your sensitivity, your knowing, your inner fire, weren't flaws, but signs? Signs of a soul who came here with a mission too ancient to be remembered by the mind, but never forgotten by the heart. You see, there is a thread that ties together the great mystics, sages, and prophets of every era. They all walked a path that was lonely, misunderstood, and often rejected by the world. Yet through that path, they awakened. They remembered who they were, and just like them, you didn't come here to fit in. You came here to shift the frequency of the entire planet. But the truth is, most chosen ones don't even realize they're chosen, because this world doesn't hand you a scroll and say, "Congratulations, you're here on divine assignment." Instead, it tries to convince you that you're broken, that you're too much or not enough. It throws pain at you disguised as rejection, abandonment, failure, and suffering. But all of it is designed to awaken what has been asleep in you for lifetimes. Being chosen doesn't mean you're better. It means you're burdened with sacred responsibility. It means the universe entrusted you with divine codes that only unlock when your heart is broken open wide enough to remember. You were sent here to break cycles, to pierce through the illusion, to carry light into the darkest corners of this world. And that's why this video was meant to find you. Because the world is shifting, the veil is thinning, and the chosen ones are awakening. In this video, we will reveal the 9 undeniable signs that you are one of them. This isn't about flattery, it's not about ego, this is about destiny, alignment, and remembrance. We're going to explore the ancient clues hidden in your life story, the trials that nearly broke you, and the gifts you didn't know were encoded in your soul before you were born. Each of these signs is a breadcrumb on the path back to your true self, a mirror, not of who the world says you are, but who you've always been beneath the conditioning, the pain, and the masks. So whether you've always felt different, or you're just beginning to question the reality around you, this message is for you. This journey is not for the faint of heart. But if you're still here, that means something in your soul is ready to remember. You didn't stumble across this video by accident. You were guided here by something older than time. And by the end of this video, you won't just understand what it means to be chosen. You'll feel it in your bones. To understand the essence of the chosen one, we must travel beyond the veil of modern thinking. We must return to the ancient temples, the scrolls hidden in caves, the whispers encoded in forgotten languages. Because this is not a new idea. It is as old as time itself. In nearly every civilization, there existed a mystical class, those set apart. In Egypt, they were the initiates of the mystery schools, trained in silence for decades to awaken dormant powers. In India, they were the rishis and siddhas, mystics who communed with the unseen and bent the laws of nature. In the Hebrew scriptures, we meet the prophets, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Elijah, each burdened with a divine message for a world that would not listen. In early Christianity, the Gnostics spoke of the pneumatics, souls seeded from the divine fullness, trapped in the illusion of matter, here to awaken others. They were rarely loved, often hunted, betrayed, misunderstood. Why? Because to be chosen is not to be celebrated, it is to be separated. The root of the word holy in Hebrew, kadosh, literally means set apart, not because of superiority, but because of purpose. The same fire that ignites a lamp can burn down a house. Power without preparation is destruction. And so, the path of the chosen begins in obscurity, not fame. Think of Moses, exiled to the wilderness for 40 years before he ever led his people to freedom. Or Yeshua, Jesus, who vanished from public record for 18 years in which many mystics say he traveled east to study with the Vedic masters and Buddhist monks before returning with a message that shattered the world. This period of isolation, abandonment, even suffering, is part of the refining process, the alchemy of the soul. In the alchemical traditions of the Middle Ages, there were stages of transformation: nigredo, blackness; albedo, whitening; citrinitas, yellowing; and finally, rubedo, reddening, the stage where base matter becomes gold. Every chosen one must walk through Nigredo, the dark night, the undoing of ego, the crucifixion of identity. Only then can true gold emerge, not the gold of wealth or success, but the gold of awakened truth. Philosophers across time have hinted at this sacred path. Plato, in his allegory of the cave, describes prisoners who see only shadows on the wall, believing them to be reality. But one soul escapes. He sees the light, the real world. And when he returns to free the others, they mock him, reject him, even threaten to kill him. This is the tragedy and the triumph of the chosen one, because once you see, you cannot unsee, and once you remember who you are, the world will no longer recognize you. The Tao Te Ching says, when the best student hears of the Tao, he practices it diligently. When the average student hears of the Tao, he half believes it. But becoming requires unbecoming, and in that space of shedding skin, losing comfort and dying to who you once were, you will come face to face with the ancient truth. You were never here to belong. You were here to remember, and to awaken others through your remembrance. Every era has its chosen ones. They are not always the loudest. They are not always the most visible. But they carry light codes in their being that shift the frequency of every room they walk into. They carry wounds that have become wombs of wisdom. They are not perfect, but they are precise, calibrated by the divine for a mission that only their soul can fulfill. In indigenous traditions, there's a concept called the wounded healer. It is said that the shaman does not become a healer until he has survived an illness, a madness, a wound so deep it threatens his life. And from that descent, he returns, not only healed, but as one who heals others. This is the path of the chosen one, a spiral, not a straight line, a journey through darkness into light. So you can return with the medicine, so you can become the bridge. And so when you ask, why me? The universe whispers, because you remembered. Now that we've stepped into the ancient context of what it truly means to be chosen, it is time to reveal the signs, those sacred fingerprints left on your soul before you incarnated into this life. These are not surface traits. They are soul markers, encoded into your very essence. If you've seen even one of them in yourself, it is no coincidence. But if you see all 9, then this message is your confirmation. You are not imagining things. You were called. Let's begin. Sign number 1. You've always felt like an outsider, even in your own family. From the moment you were born, something felt off. You may have looked around at the people who raised you and silently asked, why don't I belong here? It is not that you hated them, it is that you felt a different frequency in your body. While others were concerned with fitting in, gossiping, or chasing worldly success, you were observing, reading between the lines, sensing emotions before they were spoken. You might have been the quiet child, the one who wandered off to be alone, the one who questioned everything adults said, not to rebel, but because something didn't feel right. This wasn't random. Chosen ones are rarely born into environments that reflect who they truly are. Instead, they are placed into spiritual amnesia, surrounded by contrast, to force the awakening. Why? Because when you don't belong, you search for meaning. When you don't fit in, you begin to remember who you really are. This is sacred discomfort. It is the beginning of the remembering. Sign 2. You carry a deep inner knowing that cannot be explained, even if no one taught you. You knew. You knew when people were lying to you. You knew when something wasn't right in the room. You sensed things before they happened. You dreamed things that later came to pass. This inner knowing is not intellect, it is intuition, an ancient sense gifted to chosen ones as part of their soul's contract. In many ancient cultures, this was called second sight. The Egyptians trained initiates in the temple of Isis to develop this gift through fasting, silence, and inner stillness. The Vedic texts speak of the third eye, Ajna chakra, being the seat of divine sight. You may have never been taught to trust it. In fact, the world may have tried to convince you that you were too sensitive, too emotional, or even crazy. But that's how the world treats what it doesn't understand. Your knowing isn't a flaw. It is a compass, a signal that you were never meant to operate purely from logic. You were designed to feel your way through this life because your mission is energetic, not intellectual. Sign number 3. You've survived extreme pain, loss, or trauma that seemed unfair. Look back on your life. There were moments you thought would break you. Maybe it was betrayal, maybe abandonment, maybe physical illness or abuse, or years of being misunderstood and silenced. To the average person, those events would seem cruel, unfair, meaningless. But to the chosen one, those were the initiations. You weren't being punished. You were being forged, like a sword passed through fire. You were being stripped of everything false, so that your truth could emerge sharper than ever. This is what the alchemists called calcination, the burning away of ego and impurity. This is what the Desert Fathers called purification of the soul. This is what the mystics call the dark night. You didn't go through that pain because you were cursed. You went through it because your soul knew it could handle it, and that you would transform it into power. Pain was never your enemy. It was your portal. Sign number 4. You have recurring dreams, visions, or signs from the universe. There's a reason you see numbers repeating, 1111, 222, 444. There's a reason you keep dreaming of water, flying, ancient places, or mysterious figures. There's a reason you feel chills when you hear certain words or songs. These are not coincidences. These are communications. The universe speaks to chosen ones through symbols, through dreams, through synchronicity. The Kabbalists taught that dreams are the language of the soul. Carl Jung believed the unconscious mind communicates with archetypes, universal images that transcend culture. The indigenous shamans of the Amazon view dreams as real as waking life, portals to the spirit world where messages are sent, battles are fought, and healing is done. If you've always felt like your dreams meant more, if you've seen animals appear at strange moments, if you've experienced déjà vu so intense you could swear you were reliving something, then know this: you are being contacted by your higher self, by your guides, by Source itself. Chosen ones are never alone. They are watched, protected, and guided. But the language of guidance is subtle. You must listen with the soul, not the ears. Sign number 5. You are a natural healer, teacher, or protector. Even if you never ask to be, people come to you with their problems. Strangers tell you their life story within minutes of meeting you. Friends call you when they're falling apart, not just for comfort, but for clarity. This is not accidental. Your presence holds a vibration of safety, of wisdom, of something they may not even understand but can feel. Even if your own life feels chaotic, you somehow always hold space for others. This is because your soul signed a contract long ago to be the mirror, to be the light, to be the stabilizer in the storm. This doesn't mean you have to become a counselor or start a healing business, but it does mean you were born to influence others energetically, even in silence, even in passing. But here's the catch. Until you learn to set boundaries, this gift will drain you. You are not here to save everyone. You are here to be an example, a living frequency that others awaken through. As the saying goes, you teach best not by preaching, but by radiating. These are the first 5 signs, and if they resonate, it's because your soul is beginning to echo back the truth it always knew. You are not broken. You are becoming. The remaining 4 signs go even deeper. They are less obvious, but perhaps even more profound. If you've seen the first 5 signs reflected in your life, you're already standing at the doorway of remembrance. But these next 4 signs, they go deeper. They are the soul-level confirmations, not always loud, but impossible to ignore once recognized. Sign number 6. You are highly attracted to the mystical, the hidden, and the forbidden. Since childhood, you may have been drawn to the unseen. While others were fascinated by sports or status, you were staring at the stars, reading about ancient civilizations or questioning why the world was the way it was. You might have explored astrology, numerology, energy healing, sacred geometry, or esoteric philosophies, not because someone told you to, but because it called you. This is your soul seeking its own language. The chosen ones are never satisfied with surface-level answers. They don't just want what, they want why. They crave truth, not tradition, depth, not doctrine. In ancient times, you would have been initiated into a mystery school. Today, you are self-initiating, driven by an inner hunger that no book or teacher can fully satisfy. This thirst for the hidden is not escapism, it's alignment. You are remembering the ancient paths your soul has walked before. Sign number 7. You struggle with deep empathy and the pain of the world. Sometimes the suffering of the world can feel unbearable. You can't just turn it off. You feel what others don't. The silent heartbreak behind someone's smile. The weight of a room even before words are spoken. The grief of humanity, even when it isn't your own. This is both your gift and your test. The chosen ones are like spiritual antennas, picking up signals that others miss. This sensitivity isn't weakness. It's your divine technology. But without proper grounding, it can drown you. That's why you must learn energy hygiene, meditation, solitude, nature, prayer, breathwork. These are not luxuries for you. They are survival. Because when you learn to feel without absorbing, you become not just a receiver of pain, but a transmuter of it. Sign number 8. You've had multiple identity deaths and rebirths. Who you were 5 years ago is almost unrecognizable now. You've gone through phases of shedding old beliefs, old roles, old versions of yourself. Not because you're flaky or inconsistent, but because your soul evolves in rapid cycles. While others build lives rooted in stability, you are called to transformation. Again and again, the universe has asked you to let go, to release what felt safe, to die to what you thought you were. Because each layer that falls reveals more of your essence. This is the Phoenix path. Death, rebirth, ascension. You're not here to arrive somewhere. You are here to evolve, and each breakdown has been a spiritual upgrade in disguise. Sign number 9. You've always known, deep down, that you're here for something greater. Even if you haven't known what it is, you've felt it. An unshakable sense that your life has meaning, that something big is coming, that you're here for a reason that your mind can't fully explain. This is not delusion, it is the whisper of your mission. Before you came into this body, you agreed to carry light into a world that would often try to dim it. You chose Earth at a time of great transition, not to escape but to awaken. And now the clock has struck, the veil is lifting, and your mission is beginning, not tomorrow, not when you're ready, but now. You don't need all the answers. You only need the willingness to remember, because the moment you say yes, the universe starts rearranging everything in your favor. So you've recognized the signs. You've felt the resonance in your body, in your memories, in your intuition. You're not just learning these truths, you're remembering them. But now the real question becomes, what do I do with this awareness? Recognition is powerful, but transformation only begins when insight becomes action. The path of the chosen one is not one of passive belief. It is a daily walk, a sacred dance between the spiritual and the earthly. Let's explore how you can walk this path with clarity, power, and deep inner alignment. Step 1. Embrace sacred solitude. Do not run from isolation. One of the hardest lessons for chosen ones is that you will often be alone before you are aligned. That solitude is not a punishment, it's a purification. You may have lost friends, been ghosted by family, outgrown partners. This isn't coincidence, it's divine intervention. Why? Because before the universe reveals your true tribe, your soul must detox from everything that is not in harmony with your destiny. During this time, you must learn to be your own sanctuary. Turn your solitude into a spiritual temple. Begin each morning with silence before you look at your phone or absorb others' energies. Speak to your soul aloud. Ask, what do I need today to stay aligned? Journal your dreams, synchronicities, and intuitions. Create sacred space in your room. Burn incense, light candles, make it a holy sanctuary. When you treat your solitude as sacred, you stop fearing it. You begin to meet the divine within it. Step 2. Develop a daily energy practice. Chosen ones are energetically sensitive. You're more affected by people, places, and frequencies than most. And without spiritual maintenance, you'll find yourself feeling drained after social interactions, overwhelmed by collective emotions, confused about which feelings are yours and which are not. So you need spiritual hygiene the way the body needs water. Here's a simple daily practice. Morning alignment, 10-15 mins. Breath work, 5 deep conscious breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Protection. Prayer. I call all my energy back to me, cleansed and purified. I surround myself with divine white light. No harm can enter, no fear can stay. Visualization. See your body wrapped in golden light. Feel your feet rooted deep into the earth. See yourself holding a torch of flame at your core. Evening purification, 10 mins. Salt bath or shower. As water runs over you, affirm, I release all energy that does not serve me. I am clear, I am light, I am restored. Write down anything that triggered or drained you. Close the night with gratitude. Thank you, universe, for the strength to walk this path. These simple acts keep your field clean and your mission sharp. Step 3. Remember why the world feels so heavy and how to transmute it. As a chosen one, you will feel the world's pain deeply, and if you're not careful, you'll confuse it with your own. You are not just a soul in a body, you are a tuning fork for frequencies. That anxiety you feel walking into a room, that sadness that hits you for no reason, you're absorbing signals, but you were never meant to hold them. You were meant to transmute them. Here's how. Ground into the earth. Walk barefoot outside. Put your hands on a tree. Visualize any heavy energy draining down into the ground to be recycled. Use your voice. Sound is power. Humming, toning, even speaking aloud, positive truth clears stagnation in your field. Creative expression. Chosen ones are often artists, writers, dreamers. Use your gift to move energy. Your creativity is medicine, not decoration. Never forget, you are not weak for feeling deeply. You are powerful because of it. But that power must be channeled, or it will turn into overwhelm. Step 4. Reclaim the forgotten power of your voice. For many chosen ones, the throat chakra has been wounded. You may have been told you were too much growing up, been mocked or punished for asking deep questions, struggled to express your truth without guilt. This is no accident. Your voice holds codes. When you speak truth, you activate others. You shift energy. You create ripples in the unseen. That's why the world tried to silence you. But now, you must reclaim that voice. Start small. Speak affirmations aloud each morning. My voice is sacred. My truth is powerful. I speak from love and I do not shrink. Stop apologizing for your truth. Say what you mean without diluting your frequency. Use your platform, no matter how small, to plant seeds of light. Social media, art, conversation, whatever is authentic to you. The chosen one doesn't shout to be heard. They speak from the soul and the right ears always hear. Step 5. Shift from seeker to embodier. There comes a moment in every chosen one has life when seeking is no longer enough. You've read the books, watched the videos, heard the prophecies. But the truth is this, you will not activate your mission through information alone. You must embody it. That means, walk your talk. Let your daily actions reflect your spiritual values. Make your life your message, not your opinions, but your embodiment. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start living as if it's already begun, because it has. Your mission doesn't need a stage, it needs presence. When you walk into the grocery store with grounded light, you're doing more than 1,000 tweets could ever do. When you love your inner child, you break a generational curse. When you forgive your past, you become a portal for others to do the same. This is the real work of the chosen one, subtle, sacred, invisible to most, but seen by the divine. Step 6. Recognize spiritual attacks as confirmation. Let's not sugarcoat this. When you step into your calling, resistance will come, in the form of doubts that seem to come out of nowhere, people from your past resurfacing to test your boundaries, sudden fatigue or confusion when you're about to break through. This is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that your light is disrupting darkness. Do not fight with fear. Do not argue with projections. Instead, stay grounded in prayer. Whatever your language is, use it. Keep going anyway. Your consistency is spiritual warfare. Declare authority aloud. I am protected by divine light. I walk in purpose. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Spiritual attack is not failure. It's friction, because you're moving forward. Step 7. Accept the mission, then detach from the outcome. The paradox of being chosen is this: you were sent here with a divine purpose, but you are not here to control how it unfolds. You may never get credit. You may never see the fruit of the seeds you plant. You may never be understood, and still you must walk. Why? Because you didn't come for recognition. You came for realignment. The tree never sees all the creatures it shelters. The candle never knows how many it lights. But both keep shining. So must you. Remember this. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not lost. You are becoming. And everything you've endured was sacred preparation for what's coming next. You've made it this far. Not just through this video, but through life itself. Through the betrayals that should have broken you. Through the nights you wept in silence, wondering if anyone would ever understand you. Through the invisible weight you've carried, of knowing you were different. Long before anyone could give that knowing a name, now you know you are not alone. You were never crazy. You were never cursed. You were never forgotten. You were chosen, not by luck, not by accident, but by divine orchestration. Before you came into this life, your soul stood before the great council of light. And when they asked who would go to earth, who would awaken amid the chaos, who would carry the torch in the darkest time, you raised your hand. You said, I will go. I will forget who I am so that I may remember and help others remember too. And the moment you said yes, the universe wrapped you in destiny. Your path was set in motion, not easy, but holy. Now that you've remembered, you have a choice. You can continue living small, hiding your light behind the veil of comfort, hoping to fit in somewhere you were never meant to belong. Or you can step into your truth, radiate what you've always known, and become the frequency you were born to anchor. This isn't about building a brand or becoming famous. This is about becoming true, because the world doesn't need more influencers. It needs more initiates, it needs more you. And here's the miracle. You don't need to force it. You don't need to strive, to hustle, to prove. You need only remember. Remember that your sensitivity is strength, that your wounds are wisdom, that your soul is eternal, that your presence alone is powerful. The chosen ones do not lead with noise. They lead with energy. They change timelines with a glance. They heal rooms with their stillness. They speak truth that activates dormant codes in others without ever needing to shout. You may still doubt. You may still fear. But let me tell you something ancient. Every prophet, every sage, every master felt unworthy at first. Moses stuttered. Jeremiah wept. Mary hid. Even Yeshua asked for the cup to pass from him. Yet they continued, because they knew their life wasn't just about them. It was about the light they carried. And now, it's your turn. This is your initiation, not into a religion, but into remembrance. The moment you stop pretending to be normal, the moment you stop apologizing for your light, the moment you stop waiting for permission, you will feel it. The shift, the alignment, the surge of power that comes not from ego, but from truth. You'll walk into rooms and change the atmosphere without saying a word. You'll be guided moment by moment to the people and places your mission needs. You'll stop fearing failure because you will understand there is no failure when you're on divine assignment. So I leave you with this. Don't wait, don't shrink, don't forget. Your soul has waited lifetimes for this moment, and now it begins. You are a chosen one. Walk accordingly.